which payroll is a little bit better set up, starting with the Niners against Seattle. And I can pull it up here and we can talk it about. I know you don't have it in front of you, but I have Seattle. Certain things that stand out about Seattle. First of all, they have less cap space. They're spending about the same amount on their roster, about 170 million, and they don't have much dead cap, but they're very top heavy. They have Russell Wilson at 32 million this year, Bobby Wagner at 17, Dwayne Brown at 13, Jamal Adams at 9, Tyler Lockett at 8, Quandre Diggs at 6. And then after that, I don't really like anyone. I mean, they got good players, but they got like Brandon Shell making 5, Jason Myers making 4. So it's kind of a top-heavy roster, as opposed to the Niners, who, let's see what they got. They have more dead cap with Weston Richburg and Quan Alexander, and they do have Jimmy Garoppolo making 26-4, but then they got Armstead at 12, Bosa at 9, D Ford at 9, Trent Williams at 8, Ward at 5, Ward at 10, Kittle at 5. So the Niners actually have just like lower cap numbers, I guess, a little bit more evenly distributed than the Seahawks. Which team do you think is better set up financially this year? Seattle or the Niners?
Yeah, the Niners are, right? Because the Niners don't even Garoppolo, right? We talk about the number. The number is just relative to Garoppolo's play, but for a starting quarterback, compared to Russell Wilson, like obviously I'd still take Russell Wilson at 37 million over Garoppolo at 25.
No doubt, I would too.
Russell Wilson at 37 over Garoppolo at 15 million. Nothing against Garoppolo. It's just Russell Wilson is Russell Wilson. But the point is that I think the overall roster of the Niners, like you talked about it, right? Seattle's allocation of their budget, it goes quarterback, right? 2 safeties, a left tackle, a wide receiver, a right tackle, and a kicker. Right,
and another wide receiver. Oh no, because they're not paying DK. That's a nice thing. That's the one good thing.
Yeah, but if we go through their seven highest paid players, I'd go kicker, non-premium position, safeties, non-premium position. It's just quarterback, tackle. Receiver, I wouldn't say is a premium position either, right? But you go to the Niners, right, and you look at where their money is allocated: quarterback, defensive end, safety, defensive end, left tackle.
Left guard, like those right are tackle, corner,
right? But
the end,
The immediate effect is that the Niners are clearly more invested in the trenches, while Seattle isn't. And to me, that's important when you look at roster construction. And then when you go to the Niners, I think Jason Barrett's like 9 at 5. His cap number is I think 5. It's right near George Kittle. So when you go down the list for the Niners, like, they've invested in premium positions, and then their non-premium positions is a premium player in George Kittle. So to me, that's where I just go down the list and I say the Niners roster construction is still better. Now, where Seattle has the big advantage is
they have a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's great.
Right.
And they have DK, who's one of the bigger bargains in the league. He's a huge bargain.
Unbelievable player.
Yeah.
And then but overall, and Bobby Wagner, I still think Bobby Wagner is really good. I know that a lot of people say Bobby Wagner.
They pay him $1 million a game.
Right.
Yep.
Right. But overall, like, to me, if you just go through the roster construction, because Seattle's roster construction is wacky. Like, having a kicker be one of your 5 highest paid players on your team.
They have a ton of guys making like 2 and 3 million. A ton of guys making like 1, 2, or 3 million.
Yes,
a lot.
I mean, their highest, their investment in their defensive line, which I think is one of their bigger. I think their defensive line is really not good. I know they got Kerry Hyder, but I think their defensive line is really not good. And their investment in their defensive line, when you look at Dunlap, who had a couple good games last year, but I don't think Dunlap is your prototypical edge rusher 1 in this scheme, like a Michael Bennett, a Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, like the guys who run this defense, though it's evolved, like the same front, they run this, the 4-3 front, and in this Seattle style, which is an 8-man front. I don't think he's that level of player, especially at this point in his career. LJ Collier is okay. I mean, Ford is okay. I'm not even a big fan of Kerry Hyder, even based on last year's production, because I think a lot of his sacks were later in the down when either the Niners coverage took away the first read or somebody else, like an Eric Armstead, got pressure and moved the quarterback off his spot. I didn't think he had a lot of just high quality beating the guy around the edge sacks. Now, I haven't watched every one of his sacks in a little while, but
stick-to-itiveness.
Yes, but
Yes.
that's not what you're looking for when you're paying a pass rusher.
No.
So overall, I just look at Seattle's roster and I just say, man,
Because
like,
who's going to create the pressure for Kerry Hyder to finish? Like no one.
right,
So I
right.
do think the Niners have an opportunity to be better than the Seahawks this year. I mean, really, aside from Jimmy Garoppolo, the Niners salary structure is you can't argue with it this year. It's terrific. Aside from
It
Jimmy, so as
is.
long as Jimmy doesn't get hurt and all that money goes to IR, the Niners are in good shape. If they can cut Jimmy or they can get a full season of Jimmy, one or the other, they're in good shape.
Besides D Ford, there's not
D
a
Ford.
guy that you go down in the top 15 highly paid players of the 49ers and say, wow, they're paying him and he's not going to contribute jack.
Exactly. D Ford's the one. And that it's significant, but I do think the Niners have a better salary structure right now this year than the Seahawks. That's important to note.